Hello, hello, hello. It's Kate Bolt, independent Stampin' Up demonstrator here in the UK. I'm back for another Coffee and Cards Live. Hello, hello, hello. If you are joining me live, I'm just getting myself set up. I'm a little bit later this afternoon than I normally would be, a few minutes late. So apologise for that. Apologies, I can't speak. Apologies for that. There's busy times, but I got here. Hooray! Right, I'm just going to check if I am live in the right spot on my laptop. Well, I would if it would turn on. Give that a second. Sort itself out. It's getting old, a bit like me. Anyway, I thought we'd have some fun with embossing folders today. I was inspired by a question I had about inking up embossing folders. So I'll show you what I was playing with. And then we're going to do something entirely different. And why not? Why is my laptop not charging? That's not a good thing, is it? Maybe it's not turned on at the wall. Yeah, that's would help. Right, we'll give that a moment and then I can look at comments properly. So the question I had was about inking up an embossing folder. So taking your embossing folder, adding ink directly to it, and then seeing what results you get from that. Now this one is the Fern 3D embossing folder, which is quite a deep one. It's a 3D one, so I thought I'd have a go with it. And so as you can see, because I've still got the ink left on it, I took the embossing folder and I worked out which side to ink up. Now with this one, if you look at it, if I have embossed it here normally with no ink added, and you can see the raised area of the ferns all the way through there. I'm just trying to see. And some of it, because it's, this embossing folder has some that's prouder than others. Some of it's more obvious. So let me see, how did I do it the first time? The first time, so I did it two ways and now I'm covered in ink. The first time I just checked which is the raised part. This is the raised part. So if you put your ink on this side and you put your paper on and emboss, you are going to get where it pushes in the raised part. So you're going to actually get ink in the indentations. And this was, I want to say this was the result. Yeah, this was the result here. So, and I thought that was the most effective way with the Fern 3D embossing folder of getting that. Applying ink with an ink pad straight to, with your ink pad straight to the embossing folder. Ink it up all the way over. Pop in your cardstock. So I inked up this side and then run it through, and this was the result I got, which I like. I really like that. It's frosty ferns, good for the time of year we're at. And then I thought, okay, so let's have a look at it if I was going to use it the regular side, the side that I would normally use to emboss. And that's why it's still all inky, because I've just done it sort of about half an hour ago. And I used my basic white Stampin' Up ink pad, and I have applied ink all the way over, and I've run it through, and I've got this. And so this piece has pressed it through, so this is defined, the ferns, and then the background has all the white in it, the frostiness. So I really like that, and that's what I did when I applied ink directly to my embossing folder. And now the person asking me, she was more concerned about, could she do it? Would it hurt her embossing folder? So my advice to her was that if it's a water-based ink pad, you can wash it under a cold tap, use a soft sponge on it, and remove the ink. The white craft ink is a little bit harder. I use a tiny bit of dish soap, but other than that, you can normally just rinse them off if it's a regular colour. So that's how to apply ink directly to your embossing folder. So then I had a go with this one. I really like this. This is one of our new ones. This is called the Christmas Tidings embossing folder. And so I had to think about it, and I did exactly the same. But interestingly, obviously, if you apply it to the wrong side, you're going to end up with your words the wrong way around. So I have done it with a piece of red cardstock, and I applied the white ink to the red, and you can obviously do it the other way around. And So if I put that in here, you can see which way it goes in. So then I got all of the white on the background, which left the red slightly prouder. So I applied my ink all the way over the side that has the Stampin' Up symbol on it to make this effect. And I really like that. Now I did have my ink pad, I re-inked it and I had a little bit of blodgy patches with the white. So I just took one of my blending brushes and blended it in just a tiny bit. So I hope that helps. Applying ink directly to your embossing folder like this. So I'll show you how I did it. I'm not going to do it now, but this is what I did. I've got an old ink pad. You do it just the same. And you literally apply the ink all over. Make sure you get a really good coverage, like so. And if I have a scrap of card, I will pop it through so you can see how exactly it does it. Now you obviously want to do the ink on this side. I believe I'm doing it right, so that you can get the words the right way around. So I have a piece of card. I have not really applied my ink particularly evenly because I've done it quite fast. You'd probably take a bit longer. And you can see when you put the card underneath it. So I'm going to pop that in there, run it through my Stampin' Up cut and emboss machine, and you will see what we will see. Let's have a look. No, this is a regular one. Oi! Stop it, Alfie, that's naughty. Pop that through. Alfie is guarding the house by barking at everything in sight. Yeah, so you can see I had really poor coverage here with my ink pad. I didn't do it very evenly at all, but I should have gone back actually. But it's still quite a lovely effect you get by putting the white ink on there, and I will still use that piece of card to make a card with. I think it really shows up that lovely embossing folder that's called Christmas Tidings, and it's in the current mini catalogue. It may be retiring actually, it probably is. I would need to go back and check. So how good are they? A little bit of add your ink to your embossing folder and run it through, and you get lots of different effects by doing different techniques. So the other technique I like is adding after you've embossed something, adding ink with a blending brush, and that's what I'm going to do today. It's my favourite one. So let's grab a piece of basic white card, which I have. I'm going to use the snow embossing folder. Don't know where I put it, but it's here somewhere. Let me just check that this is the right size piece of card that I want. Might be a bit small. I want it, it's 9.5. That's slightly too big. By 13.8 for my front panel. Let's have a look. I've got loads of stuff out on my desk because I'm very busy creating right now. Oh, I think I popped it back away, didn't I? Yeah. Here it is. This is the Snowfall embossing folder. And if I pop it on the plate, you can see how cool it is with all the snow on it and the flakes and all the lots of small flakes. So I want to emboss it, and I think I'm going to do it a little bit there. So I've got the kind of the less snow here and more snow. Actually, I'm going to bring it down like that. I've got more snow at the bottom. I'm going to pop that through. It's a 3D one, so I just need this plate and the base plate. Right, here we go. Let's see if my, I'm busy crafting away. I haven't really said hello to anybody. Let's see if my laptop is doing its thing. It's behaving. Let's see if I can see any comments. Oh, let's turn that all off. There we are. Here we go. So now I can see if anybody says hello to me. So say hello if you're watching me live. I would love to say hello. Tell me where you're watching from or what the weather's doing with you. It's really cold here in Buckinghamshire. Really cold actually because we've had it so mild, and it's just been over the last sort of this weekend gone that the temperature started to get really wintry. So we've had our first few frosts, and I went out for a walk with the dog this morning and it's probably about 2 degrees or something. Tell me what it's doing with you. However, saying that, the sun was glorious. It was very dull when I first went out, and then just beautiful. By the time I finished my walk, the sun was just that most gorgeous colour. So I have got a Night of Navy card base, regular C6. So I've scored it in half and cut it in half. I'm going to put another layer on. I'm going to put a layer of white around it. So I've cut it, this one at 13.8 by 9.5. And we're going to do some sponging. Hello, Amanda. Thank you for joining me. It is, you're there in Spain. It's windy and 19. Oh, 19 sounds perfect. I'd be out there with my t-shirt. We've all got our thermals on. So we're going to have a bit of fun with some ink now. I've got a few colours. I've got Balmy Blue. My Highland Heather ink pad has faded. Look at that. It's in the right state. It has faded. I sit my ink pads in the storage, which is opposite a window, which is a bit of a mistake. But to be honest, it's just 2 colours that do this for me. Highland Heather, just the label, not the ink, obviously. Highland Heather and the Petal Pink do it. Right, so these are the colours I'm going to work with today. I have got Balmy Blue, Highland Heather and Night of Navy. And I'm going to start off with my darkest colour first. Yes, I am. And at the bottom, I'm going to make a sky scene, like a twilight or night sky. So I'm going to try anyway. This is my intention. Let's see what happens. I'm going to pick the ink up on my blending brush, take a little bit off because that first bit is a bit blobby. And then I'm gently going to go over this with the Night of Navy in little circular motions until I build up the colour that I want. And we're going to have a nighttime snow scene. Christmassy one. It's going to be a Christmas card. Although I am definitely getting to the end of making them on YouTube. I've still got some to make for me. So lots and lots of ink. I'll probably come back in and make this darker. But don't forget, you can always add more. You can't take it away. So start off lighter. Balmy Blue next. So I'm graduating from darker to light. So this blending brush. I love our blending brushes because they have this nice flexible head on them. So same again. Although I think my ink pad needs re-inking quite badly. So that's probably working in my favour. And the next layer, I'm blending into the bottom so that there's no harsh line. Sorry if the table's moving. How are you, Amanda? Have you been doing any crafting lately? Hope you're well. Our little cat is poorly at the moment. She's picked up a virus somewhere. Oops. Oh, right. It looks like the Royal Mail have brought me a parcel. Alfie, stop it. Be quiet. Oh, shh, shh. So I will answer the door when they eventually come out. Be quiet. Shh, 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 shh. Stop it. Nobody wants to hear you. Right. Do excuse me. 2 seconds. Come on, you can come out and stop barking on the live. That's it. Thank you. Good. Okay, all is well. Thank you for your patience. Very patient of you if you're still with me. We know what it's like at this time of the year, though. We get these parcels delivered, and if we are not in, you just never know when they're going to come, or you never know where you're going to pick them up from. So thank you for being patient. Amanda says she's been making Christmas cards and she's got 2 special ones left and 3 birthday cards to make before they leave Spain next week to the UK. Well, how lovely. 3 birthdays. Nice. Can't get my ink pad open. Oh, I'm well, thank you, Amanda. Very well. I'm really well. All is well. Yeah, the cat was really poorly over the weekend, so she ended up staying Saturday night. We took her in to the vets at 1 a.m. and she ended up staying Saturday night in the vets, overnight on a drip and medications. And we eventually picked her up about 6:30 p.m. They let us bring her home on Sunday. She's still very under the weather, though. But she is managing to go outside. She's eating little bits, but she's definitely not herself. And they've run loads of tests and blood tests, and it's not a bacterial infection. They think she's got a virus, but we don't know where from or what it is. So we're hoping she's on the mend. Bless her. So this is my kind of twilighty sky. Thinking this one might need re-inking as well. You know, you go for a long time without bothering to re-ink your ink pads, don't you? And then all of a sudden you realise that they're very faint. So I've got all my re-inkers here. So I think it may be an afternoon of re-inking ink pads. Right. So keep building up the colour. And I'll show you the difference of if you make your blended background and then emboss it, or if you do like I've just done now, you emboss it and then do your blended background. I'm going to add a little bit more of Night of Navy first. I want a really dark kind of night sky scene. There we go. That's a bit more like it. Okay, so that's my scene. Let's move the brushes. Got a lovely card negative there. Okay, so I'll show you. I didn't use as much ink on these ones when I was practicing it. So this is if I use the blending brush in the inks to create the background and then I emboss the snowflakes afterwards. Do you see that? You can see the snowflakes very well, but not as well as if you emboss it and then you blend, because obviously you're picking up the colour on the embossed areas. So I think this is a bit more effective, but it really depends on the look that you're looking for. So this is going to go on here. Now you can see why I'm going to use a white layer there, because this piece is no longer white. So let's grab one of those. I've got a bit here. Is this the right size? 10. I'm expecting that parcel that arrived was actually for my hubby. Bless him. I am expecting one today as well. So let's just hope it doesn't come. I don't know. I think a couple of weeks ago I was on the live and I had a Stampin' Up delivery arrive. And Shaz, bless her, commented that I always get them when I'm on the live, because I do. They only ever seem to come on a Tuesday while I'm live. And yeah, and other things apparently all seem to come when I'm streaming and not the rest of the time. I don't know why. Okay, so there we go. That's going to be how it's going to look. And then obviously I'll put a white piece inside. Now, then we're going to have a bit of fun. This is going to be, I'll show you what our stamp sets and dies are going to be. I've already cut some out here. We're going to use, what have I done with that? We're going to use, I've covered it out with my trimmer. The Merriest Trees Stamps and Dies. This is fantastic. I did a class on it last Thursday. I can show you the class cards I made. Let me grab those. We had so much fun making cards using the Merriest Trees. We made this one. That's using the scallop contour dies. Yeah, we made that one. We made that one. This tag die is in the Merriest Trees Dies. So nice, isn't it? And yeah, this one. And I added a couple of the bears from the Berry Christmas in there as well. And I used the snowflake mask from the Abundant Season masks. Yeah. So that was what I did for my class last Thursday. We had so much fun with this set. It's really lovely. There's another half finished one. And a friend of mine, one of my ladies who attended, her take on this one, because I took along a big packet of sequins, as well as they got embellishments to pop on in their kits. But I also took along this box of, they're called the Sequins for Everyone, or something like that. I'll find them. And they were in the clearance rack. So I need to check if they're still there, but they were such good value. And I thought, these are lovely. And one of the ladies changed up hers to look like this, with all of these little baubles on. So I loved it so much I cased it. And then I added this at the bottom with one of the stitch shaped dies. Honestly, I love it. I love this set. It's so versatile. There's so many things you can do. So that was my class last week. Okay, so I thought I'm on a roll with these. So I'm going to show you what we can do. Now we can stamp out a full tree. I'll show you. So if you stamp out a full tree like this, you get a full tree. Does that make sense? And then you can cut it out in various sizes to make different sized trees. The other thing you can do, which we're going to do, is stamp out the relief. So stamp out the snowy branches or the greenery, depending on which way around you do it. So it's going to be snowy and it's going to be on Night of Navy. So here is the stamp. I've already cut one out. I need my basic white ink pad to come back in. You love the polar bears. I love them. I have used them a fair bit now. I need to get out all the projects that I've made and actually do some posts. That's going to be my next thing for the next so long. I have made so many projects for classes and things over the last few months. I need to do some blog posts, and then I'm going to put them on my website so that it gives people lots of inspiration, because some of you have bought these sets and it's great to get ideas. So I haven't posted everything that I've made or anything like that because there's been loads of classes going on. So that's what I'm going to do. So if you're interested in some inspiration with the bears and the trees and the joy of Noel and the classic Christmassy ones, I'm going to be putting those up on my website over the next couple of weeks. Lots of those. And some of them are on the retiring list. So this catalogue that we've got retires at the end of this month, beginning, I think it's like the 3rd of December, so something like that. So if there's anything you want, it won't be available after that. Oh, some of it's carrying over, but not much. Right. But you can see the carryover list and the retiring list on my website too. Okay, so the dies. The dies, I just put them down. There are so many dies in this. This is such a brilliant set. You get a large tree die. You get another tree die. Then you get a smaller one. And then you get an even tiddlier one. And then you get the top of the tree, which means that you can take one of these stamps and cut them in various sizes. How genius is that? To make all the different size trees, or you can cut and layer them up on one tree to make a super layered tree. And that would look amazing. Yeah, which I haven't really played with that idea yet. You get a nice tag These are the garlands that you saw on my tree in the silver and the gold that I use for my class. You've got baubles that go with the stamps. There's bauble stamps and you can cut 3 lots at a time, which is genius. Stars, gifts, that's the tag topper for this, for the whole reinforcer. Little stars, which would look great in my night sky. I might use those. There's a bow. I use that for my tree trunk. Gifts, all sorts. So it all matches all the stamps on there. So cool. Right. Now, before I put them away, I need to work out which tree I want. So I've already cut one. I didn't go for the largest one. I'm going to cut another. That one is bigger than that one, so I'm going to cut another one. And I don't know whether to go for a very large one, but I don't think I will. I think this time I'm going to cut one of those and one of those. So let's cut the small one out to begin with. So I'll show you how it works. So if you pop it up a little bit, so you get a nice outline around your tree. I'm going to stick mine down with a little tiny bit of washi and pop it through. Oh, there's a lot. So that's 1, 2. How genius is that? Now, I imagine most people will cut their trees out in green. I want mine to look like it's nighttime and it's dark and you can't really see the trees, which is why I'm cutting it out in the Night of Navy colour. Still don't know if I should go for a very large tree, but I think it might overpower the scene because I want to see some of that snowflake embossing that we've got. So just pop it on, centre it all up nicely. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to put all these trees out of the way before I lose them all, because there's little ones and big ones and medium ones. Right. I've got my trees. Got my scene. I haven't made this card yet. It's completely in my head. So let's hope it works out. I wonder if I should make it a bit darker, my background. I think I will. Right, let's try that. Put a bit of Night of Navy over the top of the Highland Heather. Oops. Having a moon on there would be nice. I might have to try that one at some point. Oh, you know what would be lovely is if this was embossed in silver on top of there instead of white. I might do that at some point as well. Okay, so I'm going to place my trees and I'm going to get my glue out now. So I've got some Tombow and some dimensionals. And I think I'm going to pop these two up on sticky foam pads. Ooh. Like that. So, have you got anything nice planned for the rest of your days? Right, let's pop my tree here. I've got a newsletter to write. It's newsletter day for me. I've normally got it written in advance, but not today. So I'm going to write my newsletter, send that out. If you want to subscribe to it, so you get all, I'm going to take that one off actually, so that, oh no, that's the other way, so that you know exactly what's coming from Stampin' Up, or any deals that I'm doing, or about my classes, or my news, offers, anything like that. Let me know if you want to subscribe to my newsletter. It's just a normal newsletter I send out every week with all of those kind of things that are coming out from me, my craft room, and from Stampin' Up. And yeah, you can always unsubscribe if you don't fancy it. It's, easy click. So I am going to pop some Tombow on this little tree. Like that, enough to glue it down, not so much near the top. Everyone who subscribes to my newsletter gets a tutorial, a free tutorial, just for subscribing. And it's a lovely, beautiful gift card holder that I recently designed and made and gave to my lovely friend. And yeah, I made it into a tutorial just free for my newsletter subscribers. So if you want that, subscribe. That's a nice little freebie. Okay, so that's going to go on there. Now, what we need to do is, let me see if I've got some silver scraps. I do. I put a lot of it away, to be fair. Here we go. Oh. Thank you. Mr. Bolt brings me a nice cup of coffee for Coffee and Cards. What a star he is. So we sell packs of silver cardstock, and it has lots of bright shiny silver, and then it's also got some of this matte silver that's almost a dark grey silver, and that's all I have left. So I am not sure if I should use this one. I know I've got some silver scraps somewhere, but I just used it for my class. And where I put it, I don't know. Right then, we're going to go with gold, this beautiful gold shimmery one, because I don't think this is going to be shiny enough for what I'm looking for. I think we will go with these two, and I'll show you why I'm doing two. And I'm going to cut some of these out for good measure. These are the little kind of, I don't know if you call them stars or snowflakes, but we're going to put them all through the machine in one pass. I don't think I want any garlands. I think that might be overdoing it. So let's just do that. It would help if I turn them over. There we go. Okay. Here we go. Bringing it in. Bringing it in. Those are the dies. Put those out the way because they're tiny. I got a little hack for you. Hold on. Have you ever seen these? One of these? This is a little dish that people doing building work would use for their screws. It's magnetic. You buy it from like a hardware store. It's cheap as chips. Put your little dies in it. Can't lose them on the table. Or if you go to a class and if you run classes like I do, just take out the ones that you're using most of and put them there. Then they can't get lost. And you know what you've got. It's easier for your people to use. So that's my hack. Right, so here they are. How beautiful are these? There's the other little one. So this is a detailed die cut, that one. And if you press, you can pop those pieces out. But mine are in there, and I'm going to leave them in there. And what I'm going to do is, so that they don't pop out, so I've got 2 stars. I'm going to layer them up, I think, and then they are going to go in the background. That's the plan. Yeah. B&Q, yeah, that's exactly it, Amanda. You can grab them from B&Q. I think I got mine from Amazon many years ago, though, so I can't give you the link. But, yeah, I think I'm just going to put one star on and double them up so the bits don't fall out. But I'm pretty sure you can get them in any hardware store. Yeah, I think I'm going to put him there. So he's got his star on. And they're so useful. I take mine to class and I've learnt the hard way, you know. The tiny little dies are the ones that get lost because, you know, we're all handling them. They're so tiny, you can't help it. So pop them in a little magnetic doodad. It was a crafty friend of mine who suggested it. It's what she did. So it was a great tip. Passing it on. Right, I'm just going to put a little bit of glue between those layers. Sorry, I'm all inky. I'm not filthy dirty. I've just got bluey, greeny, inky fingers. Okay, so that's glued. And then I am going to put a little bit of ink on the top of my tree. It's not ink, it's glue on the top of my tree, rather than on the star, so that I know it's in the right place and it doesn't go everywhere. And then I want my point from my 5-pointed star going upwards, just because I like it like that. I'm going to pop it on. Ooh, stay there. And what I might do, actually, what I will do, is grab one of our tiny weeny dimensional foam pads that we have and pop it behind there, because that one is actually popped up. If you remember, I popped the first 2 ones up. I just don't want to see it. There we go. You can buy black ones as well. There we go. So that's on there. Lovely. I'm going to glue this down now. Then I'll decide on my sentiment, and then I will put those other little stars on. For my night sky. How cute is that? Right. That's going to go on there like that. That is quite nice, that gold. It's kind of lifting it a little bit, isn't it? I am covered in glue. Right, here we go. So let's have a look. We have got hoping your home is filled with the spirit of the season, love and joy. Now, I think that this one's going to be slightly too big for what I want on the top there, but I do think this is going to work really well. It also says to you and yours, which would go nicely inside. So if I put love and joy, and then we can have to you and yours inside. So that's going to go on there. So have I got a scrap of Night of Navy card? Pretty sure I should have. you. Okay, we are going to do a little bit of heat embossing. So I've got my embossing buddy out. Oh, that's clever, Amanda. She says she just Googled it and the magnetic dishes are easy to make. She's got lots of magnets from the mosquito curtains that the dogs keep tearing. Oh, you're a naughty puppy. Naughty dog. Yeah, they do all sorts, don't they? Honestly. But that's a great idea. That is a great idea. Definitely do that. If you can make it, don't buy it. I want a block. Talk about naughty dogs. My dog's got a new habit. Stealing food when you're not looking. So he's a fluffy Labradoodle and he's as good as gold and he's never done it before. But if you leave sort of a little bag of cookies on the side in the kitchen that's in a bag, he would never dream of it. If you left a slice of bread out on a plate unattended and you weren't in the room, definitely he would have taken it if you're not there. But anything wrapped up, no. Yeah, lately he started taking things that are wrapped up. We've had to put them up in biscuit tins and all sorts. He's such a pickle. And he's 10. Don't know why he started doing that. Right, I've inked it up in the Versamark ink. I've used my embossing buddy, stamped it up, do that, and then I'm going to use my gold embossing powder because I've used a gold star on my tree. Although I do like mixed metallics, so I don't think it would really matter. Love and joy. Like that. Let's move it out of the way. Get my heat tool. One of them. I have a few of these things. Right, I'm going to heat it up and melt this lovely embossing powder. Yeah, it's an entire... I don't know if you know about the little plastic boxes of like little treats you can get from the supermarkets. Like you can buy little Rice Krispie cakes and things like that. He ate nearly a whole one of shortbread rounds a couple of weeks ago, and that was it. I was like, who's eaten them all? Why is the box on the floor? What's going on here? No, it wasn't any of my children who did it. No. Naughty boy. So, he was very ashamed of himself afterwards, you could tell. Okay, so I'm picking out the Stylish Shapes dies. I'm going to have a little look here and see if I can use this one. I'm going to, yeah, and I'm going to bring it off this way and I'm going to bring it off the side of the card somehow. I'm just going to cut it out and see. All right, I love these Stylish Shape dies. Mine are completely, look, I've used it to death, all of them. They're so good. I do want a bit of washi tape because I'm probably going to do it skewiff otherwise. Right, I think I'd like it that end heavy. Yeah, like that. Run it through. Now, we had a lovely chat last week, but I couldn't see all the comments, so I was going to go back afterwards and reply to everybody. Except for, and I had the settings, I checked, set that when the live went on to replay, you'd still have the chat. But it didn't, it just disappeared. I've even gone back to check because I Googled it and it says, oh, sometimes it may take 24 hours to show up. No, It did not. So I was a bit annoyed because I couldn't say hello to anybody properly. I mean, I said hello to everyone, but, you know, I couldn't chat in the comments. So I only want it that big because I'm going to have it hanging off the side. So I'm going to cut it. So I've been in before I went live today and checked the settings. So fingers crossed. But hopefully, I mean, I can see all the comments today, so I can chat with you anyway. Okay, so I quite like the idea of it hanging off the edge like that, like I did on my card that I made for class the other day. Love and joy. I wonder if it would have been better in white. Would it? Looks a bit dark. What do you think? White? What I'll do is I'll just cut this out before I bother embossing, just to get an idea. Oh yeah, I like that a lot better. I wonder if I can do it on top. Now I normally do it the other way around. You don't get the notifications even though the little bell is showing. I know, and I don't know how it's, I don't think it's anything my end. I think that's a YouTube issue, I'm afraid. Try clicking on the bell because it says, do you want some notifications, do you want highlights, or do you want all notifications? You get to choose which you want. But I have done the same and I don't get notifications for some people I follow as well. And I don't know why, Amanda. If anyone can shed light on it, that would be great. But yeah, check that it says all notifications, or maybe uncheck it and then check it again, kind of to reset it. Maybe that might work. I don't know. So I'm going to put it on here and hopefully I've got it centered. Normally I would do it the other way around. Okay. But don't unsubscribe by accident. That would be sad. Right. Okay. So I hope whoever's watching live, you're enjoying it. If you are, do give me a thumbs up, won't you? And also, if you aren't subscribed, please consider subscribing, because then you'll know when I do put new content up on. So Amanda says she's turned it off and turn it on again later after she's been out and in again. That would be great, Amanda. Please don't forget about me, though. Because I would miss you. Okay, love and joy. Right, let's get my tweezers. These come with the Embossing Editions kit. Saves your fingers. This is an old heat tool. I've got a few in my stash. It's nice to have more than one at the class so that ladies can multiple emboss. There we go. Right, I think I'm going to like that better. Yes, that pops out a lot better, doesn't it? Let's just cut that off. Oh, I'm going to have to shut the door. My husband's study is right next door to my craft room, and he is working from home today, so you don't really want to hear all his meetings going on. That would not be the way. Love and joy. I might cut it a bit shorter. There we go, that's good. Just thinking I might try with a bit more of this scrap of gold. See what it looks like that. I'll think about that. It's quite nice. But before I do any of that, it's light enough in here. I've got a very big light in my room. I had a new light last winter because my other one was so poor. So it should be bright enough. It's just, it's very dark outside. Just because it's one of those winter days. Right, let's put these kind of stars in the sky. Ooh. I needed a smaller one, so I stick that one there. Looks a bit weird there. I think this one is better. I think this one's a bit large. That's nice there. Oh, this could be dangerous. This could be the type of thing where you sit here for ages and just put, and yeah, and you just end up, yeah, let's just put them on and not overthink it. Do you overthink your placement of things? I would love to know. I do. Right, okay, these are going here. My stars. Right, I'm going to sit down a minute. Do you stand and craft? I do. Right, I'm going to cut the end of that one off. Where are my scissors? I haven't had those out yet, have I? Going to pop that on there. I'm going to glue them together. So a little bit of Tombow. So it took me quite a while, this card, mainly because I hadn't decided exactly how it turned out. I had a general idea of the background. So you've kind of been through my thought process with me, rather than me just saying, right, here's the card we're going to make. So I'm sure it wouldn't take you anywhere near as long to make a card, right, like this. Some sticky foam pads, need some of those. I don't know if that we're doing better there. And then, no. stay with the original plan. There we go, right to the end. Okay, that's good. We're going to take these off, glue it down. So, do you play with ink and embossing folders? I love inking them up. My favourite technique is with the blending brush, picking out elements in the embossing folder. I don't think I've got any different stars. I think I'm going to go with this. Right, let's do it. Not convinced. Let's put those to the side a moment. I do have some of the sequins I was using in class. What have I done with those? Oh, I know what I do have that I'd like on this card. Let me grab those. I've got all sorts going on. So these are some of the iridescent pastel sequins. These are some of the, I can't remember what these are called. These are current in the September to December catalogue. These are so pretty. These are a type of adhesive back sequin as well. They're all there in the catalogue. Right. So these are very pretty, as are these. I am thinking I'm going to go with the gold instead of the stars, because I wanted something down here to balance it and I don't want stars at the bottom. I think this was my issue. That's it. How easy is that? And then I just need an inside for my card. My winter wonderland. Let's grab a piece of cardstock. This is the easy part. My inside layer is the same size as my first layer on a card, which is 14.3 centimetres by 10. So if you're cutting a piece of A4, you'd get 4 from there. Okay, so I think what I'm going to do is grab my very white tree stamp. I'm going to clean it. The white ink does take a little bit of getting off, but that's okay, it all comes off. And I'm going to ink it up in Night of Navy as a contrast for the inside. I'm going to put a tree there. And then I'm going to put a smaller tree next to it. Like that. And then that love and joy, I will use the blue for that as well. Don't forget to stamp on your envelopes, because there's nothing nicer than a pretty card coming through the post with a pretty envelope, because then the recipient definitely knows it's not a bill or a circular or something dull. You're dashing backwards and forwards to cook lunch. It's 3 o'clock there in lunchtime. Yeah, well, it is. I think, yeah, exactly. I've not. Well, I had a brunch, so I can't say I haven't had lunch, because I did a long walk with the dog, so I didn't have it at breakfast, and then I came back and had a late breakfast. So that's mine today. Right, love and joy. There's my card. I might grab an envelope and just stamp on that. I love these Merriest trees. They are so pretty. So, yeah. So you can make any background using an embossing folder and a blending brush and some inks. Definitely. And then you just create whatever card you fancy. So, I think I'm going to do that one there. Smaller one there. There we go. Got Christmas trees on the back in blue, which will make more sense when they open it up. And they have their night sky with their silhouette Christmas trees in the night in there. And it's a little bit shiny with the love and joy. There we go. Let me move all of the junk out of the way. So the other thing I could do is pop these inside the card. I might well do that, but I'll come back and do that. So I hope you've enjoyed it. We just had a bit of fun playing with embossing folders. And I hope it might inspire you to play with them and maybe add some ink to the inside of your embossing folders, like I did with the Fern 3D one and the other one, the Christmas Wishes one, like this. That was fun. So I'll probably make some cards with those and pop them up on my social media at some point. But I hope you've enjoyed it today. It's been great fun playing with the Merriest Trees. I love it. And I will be back on Friday for another video. It probably won't be live this Friday, but I will be posting a video because I've already got it sorted out. So I hope you enjoy it and it gives you some crafty inspiration. Thank you so much if you joined me live today. We've gone way over time, but we've had so much fun. I've really enjoyed it. Thank you for joining me. If you like any of the products I've used, they're all available in my online Stampin' Up shop. Don't forget to use this month's host code. I'm not going to say what it is because if you watch this in a month or 2 or 3 months time, it will be different. So find it over on my website at inkstampshare.ink, and you'll always have the current one. If you use the host code when ordering with me online, I will be able to send you a thank you gift in the post alongside your hand stamped thank you card. And yeah, if you enjoyed it, please give me a thumbs up and consider subscribing, and I will see you next time. Yeah, I'll be here on Friday. Have a lovely week, Amanda, and anyone who's joined me live who hasn't said hello. Have a lovely week. And if you're watching me from Tomorrowland, please say hello and tell me, have you ever tried ink techniques with embossing folders? I'd love to know. And I'll see you next time. Take care. Have a lovely week. Bye-bye.